inch wheels, you know, they are humongous. Takes a lot of torque to overcome, you know, turning these wheels back here. And they didn't change the gear ratio from Ford, and don't quote me on what it was. I believe it was a, you know, like a 308, something like that, so you get some low RPM on highway speeds. Anyway, so they wanted more performance, so JDM developed a horsepower upgrade kit, which interestingly they used a large Roush air box from the Roush F-150 because it had a big enough tube, and I'll insert a picture here. It had a big enough tube that it was a huge diameter housing for the mass airflow sensor, which allowed them to turn up the horsepower and moved enough air so that the mass airflow sensor wouldn't max out. Okay, so they had a big Roush air box, that huge giant tube, and it started out really big. I want to say it was bigger than 4 inches, and it necked down. And JDM used to have these super nifty billet aluminum elbows, right where you see my elbow there, that I had custom fabbed on the earliest versions. And you know, I don't remember what they claimed it made for horsepower. And okay, so you got the air intake, you know, the nice billet aluminum elbow, you got a smaller diameter pulley for the supercharger, a belt, gap spark plugs, and a tune, a JDM custom SCT tune for these trucks. And you know, they made, I can't remember what they advertised it at, 525 horsepower, something, you know, ridiculous like that. I'm not sure, but only the first few versions got the super nice billet elbow. They started using one of those spider intakes that they used on the 4.6 and the 5.4, and they call it the Spider because it's just a plastic elbow, and I'll include a picture here that has these arms that come off and mount to these pegs, and so you have this great big air box to accommodate the huge mass airflow sensor, and it's necked down to this plastic plenum that was very, very small. And it was, I mean, they're still charging the same amount for these kits. Saleen marketed the kits. It was price fixed. I don't remember what it went for at the time, as a horsepower upgrade package. The same, you could buy them from JDM, you could buy them from Saleen, but I mean, that was, I don't know, you know, I don't want to badmouth JDM. They've been really good to me, but that was not a good deal. They couldn't get the billet elbows anymore. They started using that factory piece, and there's just no way. It's not possible that thing could have flowed anything worthy that this engine would have required. It's just not possible. So again, I bought this truck in 2015, and I wanted to upgrade the horsepower, and none of the stuff was available. JDM only marketed the kit. I think they only sold it until 2010, late 2010, early 2011, and they ran out of the Roush parts, were no longer available. So I contacted them, and they said, well, you know, you can get the pulley, the belt, the spark plugs, and the tune from us, but you need a cold air intake that will flow enough air and has a big enough housing for the mass airflow sensor to match up to the tune. And guess what? Nothing's available. I mean, maybe I looked into, you know, maybe doing something from a GT500 and, you know, modifying it to fit. I looked into lots of different options. In the end, I ended up having this manufactured by a local fabricator. This guy's fantastic. This has two inline filters here. It has the rams here that mimic the Saleen ram, only I did 2 of them. I did 1 on each side. It facilitated removing the washer fluid reservoir, and all of that to accommodate this humongous air box here, this plenum, this diameter for the mass airflow sensor. And again, now I had an elbow fabricated that will absolutely work, and there's some engineering behind it by moving your throttle body here instead of they were flat on the regular F-150, and the regular Saleens are mounted flat. But by here, there's engineering behind it that says that you're building all kinds of air velocity by having the throttle body here and then necking it down that elbow. I mean, is that true? Not true? I'm not sure. So anyway, I'm sorry, my friends. This is going to be a long video. This might be, hopefully I'll keep it, to around a 30-minute video. So I hope. I hope you watch the whole thing. I hope that you enjoy it, but this is going to be a long-winded video. So anyway, I wanted to turn up my performance, but first I was having problems with blow-by. I was pushing oil out the valve cover, changed the valve cover gasket. It started pushing oil out the rear main seal. We did a compression test on it and found that I had one cylinder was pretty much dead on compression. I don't remember which one. I think it was number 6. And here, you've seen this, you guys have seen this before, but this is the piston, and the piston rings are blown right out, and also the groove, the land, I call that a land that holds, that's built into the piston that holds the rings in place, is blown right out here. So, I was kind of stuck, and I had a handful of options. Rebuild this, the stock engine. You could have just opened up and just replaced this one piston, but that was stupid. I was planning on turning up the wick, so I found a company also in New Jersey, actually pretty close to where JDM Engineering is, called Promar Engines, and they make built engines in the the Ford modular family, but they make built 5.4 engines for Lightnings. So I ended up buying one of those. And if you guys, I'll include it in the link, but if you guys check out my blog, JC's The Metal Shop, it's on Google Blogger. I detail the engine swap to the built engine, and this anyway, it has a forged rods, forged pistons, all ARP studs and bolts throughout. It's a built engine. It's built to handle 18 pounds of boost, so why not? You could pay $2,200 for a stock rebuilt engine, or I think the engine I got was about $4,000. Completely worth it to have a built engine, that could take roughly 3 times the amount of boost. I think this maxes out now with the pulley the way it is. It's really only probably 8 pounds max, and again, this engine is built to handle up to 18 pounds of boost. So we swapped out the engine, put in the cold air intake, the pulley, the belt, the tune. I wanted to mention, I did headers to this truck, long tube headers. I went with the Dynatech long tube headers and a Dynatech catted crossover pipe. There are other companies out there. Dynatech, in my opinion, makes the best product for these F-150s. There are 304 stainless headers. They fit. The catted pipe is perfect. I mean, it has to be modified to mount to the Saleen exhaust, but there's companies out there. I think there's OBX is a company, an internet company, that they completely knocked off the Dynatech. They're identical in every way, shape, or form, and they're much cheaper. I paid in the neighborhood of $1,600 for the headers and the catted crossover pipe. But it bears mentioning, because you cannot add headers to any F-150 without changing your tune. The stock log manifolds in this are so restrictive that you're adding the headers breathe so much better. You're adding so much horsepower to your engine that you have to change the tune, or you're running the ragged edge, and you will more than likely blow up your engine if you don't change the tune. A friend of mine has a 5.4 with a Vortec. He runs a lot of boost, and when he put headers on, I think he uses a Mega Squirt or a similar system, that he had to add 14% more fuel to accommodate just for adding those long tube headers. And I'm going to crawl into this truck and see if I can't get you guys a little shot there of the Dynatech headers that I added. So added the tune, the pulley, the belt, everything like I said. And I had improved, performance improved heads from 2008 and up. Added, when they built this motor, I used the performance improved heads. Again, why not? So this truck actually probably is making in the neighborhood of a true 450 horsepower to the rear wheels now, with all of those additions. And you can see, I haven't mentioned it yet, but you can see the addition of the strut tie bar here. They originally were going to put these on the Saleen trucks, but they had fitment issues. A company called Shocks Speed, Victor he's Hispanic out of California, made these. The company is now defunct, but there's probably less than 3 of these Saleen Speed Lab versions in existence. And the problem that they had was fitment. Again, it would fit perfectly on one truck. The next truck you might have to modify a little bit, you know, maybe your brake lines or something like that. And a third truck, it wouldn't even fit at all. So they scrapped the design. Interestingly enough, when I went to mount this on my truck, now this was designed for Saleen to mount on a Saleen truck in its stock configuration, my hood wouldn't close. And I mean, it wasn't even close. It was ridiculous. So I had to modify mine. I had to modify the mounting brackets. I'm not sure if you can see that. I think you can. You see the hole, the stock hole is up top. I drilled them lower, dropped the mounting, you know, 1.5 inches or so down to clearance the hood, and then I ran into problems here where it was hitting on the power steering reservoir. So you can see that that's clearanced and moved out of the way a little bit. Like a domino effect, you're going to run into problems. But again, they probably 3 of these are in existence. That's an extremely rare part. They were all red. I had mine powder coated black, just to match my engine bay. You can see I've got Excel coils in here, and you know, some other performance goodies. And of course, you know, added the tune, and now this thing will fry the tires at will. I still have the stock, I can't remember who made it, Spall, a fan controller back there. I'm not sure if you can really see it. It's a piece of crap. These things, they fall apart. Saleen, mine has the twin electric fan assembly on it, so I run it in air conditioning bypass mode. I only drive this truck in the summertime when it's warm anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Saleen's solution to the crappy Spall controllers and their wiring issues was to just put the stock Ford mechanical fan back on. Not the greatest solution in my opinion. So I have a really nice, I can't remember the name of the company who makes it, the big, you know, fan controller to upgrade that Spall. It's slowly dying again. It only works in AC bypass mode now. But you should, when I start it up, you'll hear the fans. They sound like a jet engine. And there is the intercooler, the water to air intercooler. It just looks so nice. It just looks factory in there. So I'll give you a little pause and see if we can't see anything underneath this thing. Hold on. All right, so we're underneath the truck. You're gonna have to excuse my really crappy camera work. You can see the Dynatec long tube headers coming through there. 304 stainless. Again, the cheap knockoffs are 409 stainless. I don't know if their fitment would have been good, but I was only gonna do this one time. Duraley is the name of the fan controller I bought. They're probably the industry standard now. You'll see the transversely mounted muffler. This one's a MagnaFlow. These were made by MagnaFlow and later Edelbrock. And again, mine says MagnaFlow on it. This is truck number 308, pretty late in production for 2007. And some of them were stamped Saleen. Definitely the ones you bought from Saleen, if you were adding this exhaust to your truck, said Saleen on them. But again, what was on hand. So you'll see this has had to be modified. But the Dynatec comes with, you know, extensions for your sensors, for your mass air, your oxygen sensors. I can think came for 4 extensions for your oxygen sensors, which are absolutely necessary. You know, I'm sure that the cheaper knockoff kits don't come with that. So, but a couple of words about this exhaust. This transversely mounted muffler, so it's a dual in, dual out, DIDO system. It is as loud as hell. This is the loudest. It's got the worst drone of any vehicle I think that I've ever had. So, and that's fine as long as you know that. But guys who bought these initially back in the day and spent a lot of money were going to daily drive these things, and they were like, "Geez, I can't. This drone is just horrible. I can't live with this." You know, some guys would modify them with the exhaust that came out the back. Again, I like the aesthetics of this. I like the sound and aggressiveness of this. This isn't a daily driver truck. Again, worst droning vehicle ever. So let's pause just once more. All right. I wanted to show you guys, I mounted a sway bar. I can't remember the name of the company. Neat bolt-on sway bar. There's only one company that makes them. Do an internet search and you'll see. So I added the sway bar, and hopefully that you can see I added the Saleen, kind of the one-off rear end cover. It's also a girdle. You can't see this at all, obviously from underneath the truck, but that's just a cool piece. Made by God, I can't think of the name of the company that makes these for Saleen. You can get these for the Fox Body Mustangs, and I had this one made for my F-150. You can see over there. You can still see the racecraft. Where is it? There it is. You can still see the racecraft shocks and struts back here. So again, yeah, I just wanted to get a quick shot under here. Let's see if we can see the exhaust up there, that transversely mounted exhaust. And last but not least, I will start this thing, and we'll hear what it sounds like. There's some cobwebs. Again, I don't get to drive this thing enough, unfortunately. So super clean under here. Again, this truck came from Florida, so I was a little nervous about rust. Believe it or not, there's no rust under this truck at all. Just none. It's just so clean you could eat off it. There was rust on one part of the truck, and of course it was the Saleen rear bumper support. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but I had to get under here and clean it off. All the paint was, they just painted mild steel, of course. So I got under here and cleaned it all off, and I painted it with POR, and I actually have a spare rear bumper support that one day I plan on swapping out. You can see the trailer hitch right there. Sorry for the quality of this. I know it's dark under here, Stan. So again, Florida truck, no rust. I was very concerned because right in here, leaves and dirt build up and causes rust, and this portion will actually rust right out. Did on my daily driver F-150. Sorry for that wind. When we got into here to remove the fender liners, we put the headers on. I was pleasantly surprised. There were a lot of leaves in there, but it was nice and dry. We cleaned it out. Not a speck of rust. Not one speck of rust. So let's start this thing up. And you can hear thunder. The headers make this thing way noisier. It's way louder than even the stock Saleen setup. That's loud. Tons of drone. Hold on 1 minute. I'll give you a couple of revs. All right. So anyway, you get to hear that. Probably spit condensation right at my camera. Anyway, this video turned out much longer than I thought. I don't know if I even remembered everything to say. This is going to be close to 40 minutes, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I love this truck. I love all things Saleen. This is like a Mustang with a back porch. I consider it, it's like a Cobra that I can put the whole family in. You can put 5 people in this, and you know, it hauls ass. You heard how noisy it is. Again, not a daily driver, but now you just don't buy this type of truck, this sport truck as fast as this to daily drive it. So stand by. Well, I hope you've made it with me through this nearly 40-minute journey. I apologize for the lengthiness of this video, but if you're into all things Saleen and you're into these Saleen trucks, there isn't a better, more comprehensive video than this one on YouTube. So I welcome your comments and any questions that you might have. If you're new to the channel, I urge you to subscribe. I am dedicated to my subscribers and to YouTube viewers to providing, you know, a minimum of one you know, good video with great content that you're going to enjoy watching. If you're a gearhead like me, you're into performance, I sincerely hope that you will enjoy my videos. So again, consider subscribing, give me a thumbs up, and like I said, if you made it through this journey, I thank you, my friends. Take care.